Hey, how we doing, fam? Hey, this is Mr. Knox here again, Monday after a happy Easter for you guys. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Easter weekend and maybe got to spend some time with some family or online or on the phone or whatever you guys did to enjoy Easter yesterday. Back to work Monday, getting hard to work. Parents, I want to say thank you. The students, everybody tuning in last Friday, being a part of the Friday shout out. It was so exciting to read all those names and all the students that are doing great things, getting their work done and accomplished out there this week. I hope it's the same, getting your work done, being kind, respectful, responsible, trying your best and never giving up. As always, we do it West Avenue and the Eagle Way. Today, I'd like to talk about, so parents, I'd like to give you more tips on, or first I want to say thank you so much for teaching the students, but I want to give you more tips on what teachers do regularly to impact the classroom in order to help students succeed and learn more. Okay, so last week we dove into structuring and we talked a lot about structuring device time and structuring your time, and that contributes to success. And so you end up to structure the environment or everything that you do. Maybe you created a plan, or you have time, and your time is set out during the day, and you have this time from, we talk about right now, so many hours to get this done, or I need to check off this box or do this. We need to spend an hour at math, hour at reading, hour at science, hour at social, whatever. I mean, it could be however you do it at your house, but structuring your time for success, and we talked about that last week. And also for kindness and other things that we'd like to structure as teachers to display into our classroom so kids can learn it, pick up on it, and then of course apply it. So today, after structure, we as teachers, the actual T stands for teach, actually. So we structure everything for success. We plan. We get all those everything in advance. So we have our lesson prepared. We have our activities prepared. We have all of our whether we need manipulatives or whatever it is that we need to run our lesson, all the different supplies, and then we teach it. And so that's where you deliver what you have prepared, or as you discuss with your spouse or your roommate or boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is as you want to see what's best for your family, and you structure that for success. Now you've got to teach it. You've got to deliver it. And that starts with us and how we do that. And so, for instance, I give you some examples. So, teaching things. I was just outside with a little morning workout this morning, and I was hitting my heavy bag. And then my daughter Izzy comes in, and Dad, what are you doing? And so I give her some gloves, and then I start to teach her on how we box in order to make sure that we have a closed fist, and I have my thumbs over the knuckle, and I'm able to, as I'm extending the jab and the cross, and able to do those things. And so I'm teaching that, and it's really simple. And so I do it, we do it together, and then you do it. Okay, so think about it like that. Don't have to make it complicated. I do it, we do it together, and then student or child, then now you do it. Okay, so what we do is, so for instance, as I was teaching her the jab and the cross, 1 2 1 2 1 2. So then I took her hands and I'm out behind her and I'm bringing them up to protect her face, and I say, all right, honey, now 1 2. All right, and so I'm actually using her hands. 1 2. Now then I realize her technique, so I'm correcting as we go her technique. So she's wanting to try to come down and paw it. Instead, though, I'm trying to go right to it. So I'm making sure that her hands, as she's doing that cross over there, the jab is right with that wrist is turning as we go, protecting our face, jabbing, and that entire motion is for her to get the correct punch in order to make contact with the opponent or the bag or whatever we're working on. So then I'm able to we do it together. And then after we've done that together and she's able to feel that or see that, then she does it and she's able to 1 2 whatever and hitting the mark, and I'm correcting and I'm encouraging and I'm right there with her telling her, oh, that was wonderful, great job, or oh honey, hey, make sure bring your hands back to protect your face. There's all these different things. Or whether you're going to do that in math and you see that they're working out the math problem on a piece of paper and you look at it and you say, all right, hey, Hey, great job. That's a great one. Let me give you another one. Or, no, hey, you missed it here. Let me erase that. Try again. Try again. Whatever it is that you do. So I do, we do, you do. And that's teaching. And teaching, you guys, is all day long. It is every single thing. It is moments, tons of moments across our day. Every opportunity you get is a teaching, learning opportunity. Consider, even as I reflected upon this past week, and that's another part of teaching that we'll get into, but you reflect, or we as adults, we reflect, we look upon, wait, how did we do today? What do I need to do tomorrow to improve? Whether it be the skill that I have that I need to improve upon, to get better at for tomorrow, whether it be at work or being a better man, husband, dad, all those things. So I reflect on that, and then I'm able to do something different the next day. With God's help, God's grace, to put effort in some place different in order to improve those things. And so, but then you think about, well, what are we teaching even though we're not actually teaching? So consider this. Whenever I argue with my wife, then I'm teaching my children who are in the room how to argue. Whenever I complain about whatever we're doing as a family, then I'm teaching my children how to complain. Or if my wife and I are having an argument and I'm disrespectful to her and she's disrespectful, it goes both ways. That what I'm teaching my children, they are learning by just me doing it, and then they see it, they learn it, and they give it back to me. So what are we teaching? Are they learning what we want them to learn? Are we teaching what we want them to know? Because it's both sides. It can happen both ways. If I'm teaching that be kind, respectful, responsible, try my best, never give up, then I have to model that. I have to lead in that. And so then I want them to do that. There's a quote that says, a lazy man, he wants and gets nothing. But a man who works hard will prosper. And so I want my daughters to know that. I want them to learn that. I want to work hard at everything that I do. I want to be respectful and honor my wife. I want them to be respectful to their mom, so I've got to treat my wife with respect. I want to treat them with respect. They've got to treat me with respect. It's always this teaching, and that is what teachers, we operate day in and day out on what we want them to learn. Of course, maybe college career ready, but just simple character traits of them to be successful, wonderful human beings that we all want them to be. As you and I, as parents and all those things, we want our children to be wonderful human beings. So consider what you teach. And even if you don't even know what it is or the exact thing to do, that one of my favorites, Chip Gaines, he writes a book, and I read his book, but that actually he spoke on trial and error. We learn by trial and error. Everybody does. And so that actually, though, he puts that to some of his workers. His workers come to him and say, hey, Chip, I need you to be able to do this and this and this. And then he literally looks at them and says, okay, go do it. For him, he writes in his book that it could take him, an hour to get it done. But instead, they'll go on this goose chase for sometimes 2 or 3 days at a time to figure out how to get this permit needed to get this project off the ground, to find the exact person in the city of Waco to get it to happen. And they have to go investigate and find out themselves. And so as he says, is that, well, they took the effort, I took the effort the first time to learn it this way. And so instead of me just telling them, well, they go the roundabout way. It would be faster if I taught them or I showed them the way, but instead they learn on their own, trial and error, and they're able to figure it out as they go. The next time it'll be easier. The time after that it'll be much easier. But though they're learning by trial and error. Me personally, this is all true. When I was 15 years old, I didn't want to use my dad's electric razor. I just didn't want to. And so instead, I bought a razor of my own, a regular razor, and I started to shave. And you can see that I need to shave. I've got to shave. But in high school, it was already growing at 15 years old. So I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just just hacking away at my skin, and oh man, I'm bleeding all over the place. I'm bleeding everywhere. I go to school the next day, and oh man, all these girls making fun of me constantly. I mean, just, Brad, did you just start shaving? Did you just start? Yes, I did. I didn't know what I was doing. But over time, as I continued to get better at it, I realized, like, with the grain against the grain, I'm cutting myself, I'm nicking myself. This razor's too old, it's not clean when I'm washing it out. I'm using the Barbasol or whatever. I'm using it incorrectly. So there's other things that I can learn, trial and error, or get a book or watch a video. YouTube is phenomenal at learning things you don't know. It's how I work on my car. It's how I work on my house. I mean, or I'm asking people that know these things. I'm asking them verbally. I'm just picking their brain on, how would you do this? What do you do? What do you do? How do you do this? So we teach, but we've got to be in this mode of also learning. But what are our students learning from us? What are they learning from us? Are they learning what you want them to learn? But we as teachers, one thing to manipulate every day is what we teach and how we teach it. To try to get the students to the next level of whatever it is. Starting where they're at, understanding what they can and can't do, and then small goal by small goal, small effort by small effort to get them to the end goal of whatever skill we need them to learn, of whatever grade we need them to pass, of how we want them to be successful. And it's those moments by moments that you guys just take those opportunities, you use those. That is the best teacher. You guys, parents, you are the best teacher. You are. They get to spend more time with you. They get to spend more time with you. Hang on one second. Hang on. They get to spend more time with you than anybody else. You are their best teacher. You can do it. Try your best. Never give up. Family, hey, love, it's what you do. Love is what you do. Love is what you do. As always, we live to please Him. Let's not just hear it, but do it. You guys, parents, you're the best teacher. Keep up the good work. Enjoy it. Trial and error. Picking people's brains, watching videos, reading books, trying, as we all are, trying to improve ourselves and watch our children improve as well. Hey, love you guys. Have a great Monday. As always, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry.